One. Good morning. Are in southern Spain, uh, in X-Plane 11, High 5, R2. My goal for today is I wanted to, since Microsoft Flight Simulator just released VR controller support for their sim, um, I wanted to kind of take some time and go over how X-Plane uh, how X-Plane 11 has their VR controller support. Um, I am basically going to call the VR controller support in X-Plane 11 a benchmark. Um, Microsoft did a really good job on bringing the support, but it's lacking on a few features, and some of the adjustments are very, very, very coarse. And so I don't expect it to be the same as X-Plane, but I do expect to have the same functionality I have in X-Plane that I can have in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we're going to um, I did a first impression stream on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that is both on Twitch, up on YouTube, and I will do the same thing with this stream. Uh, so what I did on Microsoft Flight Simulator, they don't fully support the my favorite airplane, the 172 analog or steam gauge. Um, so I had to use the G1000 version. So I'm using the same thing in X-Plane. This is the default Cessna 172 with the G1000 screens. And this is the default uh, aircraft. I haven't touched anything on it. So so that'll also give me a chance to kind of go over some things that um, on functionality of X-Plane. Uh, so one thing that's kind of important in VR is to be able to do my yoke. Be able to do this. I have a button mapped to my yoke that I can hide it. So if I push the button down, the yokes are hidden. So what it allows you to do is give you like easier access to the button, all that stuff in the VR cockpit. Um, so that's one thing that would be nice. Right now, we the only way you can hide the yoke in Microsoft Flight Simulator is with the mouse. There's no command that you can use. Command would be so much handier, and also you can't even do it in VR right now. So with software update 7, can't do it. So because this is default, there's a bit of a problem right now. So I'm putting my two controllers. That's the edge of my desk. The way I would rather have the way I configure an airplane is my desk will be basically about there. It's going to be behind this uh, instrument panel. And the other thing is that when I look to my left, I'm looking at a door. I am too high in the airplane. I should be lower in the airplane. So when I look out, I can actually look under the wing. So to do that, we're going to use a plugin called VR Tools. Uh, advanced menu, and this is the menu system on X-Plane is this. If I squeeze on and I am using a Vive Pro 2 with valve index controllers. So if I squeeze the controller, the menu system, this flower menu system shows up. The little thing that's got 3 bars on it, that's advanced menu. I pull the trigger and I go down to plugins. And to go up and down, I'm using the thumbstick. So I'm looking for VR tool. Oops. Our tools, hotspots, hotspot editor. So basically, I'm gonna click on. Let me click on pilot seat. In X-Plane, there is a file called VR config file, and so because I'm in a G1000, that VR config will be unique to that. If I was in an analog 172, it would have a different VR config file. So there's a bunch of right now. There's like 4 different positions that are mapped, and right now they're incorrect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adjusting myself. So this should bring me closer. So basically, I'm bringing this closer to me. So we're not quite there yet. I want that. I want this controller basically be about like that. I'm a little bit crooked, but that'll be good for right now. Then I'm going to move this up. That's pretty good. So when I look to the left, I can basically see out underneath the wing. Let me look what it looks like there. That looks pretty good. I can actually probably go a little. Yeah. So what I'm kind of like trying to do is just have a little bit of the cowling showing. So this will be a good start. So I want to kind of get this down kind of in front of me so I can look straight ahead. So I'm going to look straight ahead and click on the relog. And then I'm going to take that. And then I'm going to commit that. And for it to work, it basically rewrote that config file. But for it to work, I got to reload the aircraft. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to load this aircraft. A couple of ways I could have done this. I just chose to do it this way, and so I'm going to go back and I'm going to reload this aircraft, the one with the G1000. Hopefully, when I reload it, actually is improved. But I kind of wanted to do this just to okay. So now that I'm in the aircraft, if I say get in the pilot seat, look, what I'm looking at is trying to look right down the yoke of my, right down the shaft of my yoke. I'll pull the trigger. So pretty good. Not quite good enough yet. That part's good, but I'm still a little bit. Move this stuff out of the way. I might be okay for right now. Yeah, I'll say I'm okay. I'm not going to spend more time on this. But that's basically how you would do it. And it may take you a couple of times, but I'm certainly square with it. So my aircraft is square with my yoke, pretty much. So when I put the 2 controllers against the edge of my desk, you can see one of the controllers is behind um, the virtual instrument panel here, and one's a little bit in front of it. So it's a little bit not quite straight, but it's good enough. Why would you want to do this? Well, there's a couple of things. One is you basically brought these instruments closer to you, so it makes them much easier to read, and you're actually in the right place where you normally would be in a in an airplane. So in other words, if I pull the yoke back, I look down, I still probably need to come a little bit closer because when I pull the yoke back, I probably should. That yoke should be just like the real yoke right now. It's touching my chest. The virtual yoke should be in the same place, so it's off by a little bit, but we'll move on. Um, so there's so this is the menu system. Then then we have basically when I take my controller and get it close to an item where I basically touch the virtual cockpit. As soon as I touch it, it highlights, and also I feel it in my controller. There's a haptic in this controller, so I feel like a bump. So same way it's right here, I can feel that. So I don't even have to be. I can actually be looking away, and I can actually feel when I touch that. Same way as my trim wheel, same thing. So you can basically not actually even be looking at it once you kind of get the muscle memory where you kind of know where things are. And the point is the representation in this airplane is 1-to-1. So in other words, uh, from here to here, if I take and measure those two controllers, that will be the same dimension as from this door to this door in a real 172. That's 1-to-1 representation, and it is probably the coolest thing about VR is exactly that. That everything is 1-to-1 scale. So so when you hear people, like, well, that plane seems small. Well, get in a real 172 or get in a 152. You're going to be rubbing shoulders in a 150. A 172, you got a little bit of room, but it's a snug airplane. It's not big at all. Okie dokie. So we'll hide this yoke, make it a little bit easier. So, like, say on the parking brake, if I just go down there and highlight it and pull the trigger, I can basically put the parking brake on and off. Um, and I have the battery off, so I'm just gonna just rotate the magnetos here. So basically, I highlight it and I turn. And one thing I noticed in Microsoft Flight Simulator, when I try to do the same thing, I cannot, because like right now, I can easily just probably, I'm trying to think how far I'm going here. So I'm not rotating it very much at all, but I can certainly individually hit each position. Um, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I have to rotate almost that far. I have to rotate it almost. I don't think I can even do it in one shot. I think I have to do it twice to get it to work. So that needs to be improved. Uh, so we can do that. Same way as the flaps. So when I go over here and I touch it, so you'll watch when and I'm not going to fly today, but I will. Um, so when I'm like coming in for a landing, so basically I'm on the downwind first notch of flaps. I may look initially, but all I do is grab and just feel the first position and put the flaps down. So okay, so go ahead and let's try to start this airplane. So basically, good luck. We're on both. Fuel cut off. Well, I'll bring the mixture back for right now. Put a battery on. Righty. I haven't flown this plane in a while, so I was looking where the tachometer was. So, gonna basically move. And so I highlight my throttle, pull down on the trigger, and then I can shove in. So we're 850, 900, 1000. It'll be good. Let her warm up a little bit. And so over here, so the white guide's a standby, and so if I go over here and it's 125.025, so if I rotate my controller, I can easily go one number at a time. Same way as the dot numbers. I can easily go up one position at a time. So it is can absolutely without a whole lot of effort, you can basically adjust. So so if I want to flip them, this would be the flip. So that flips it back and forth. Same thing. When I come in against that, it highlights and I can feel it. So same way as course. Course down here is 178. Well, I think I'm going to adjust it, but I'm not sure. Oh, that was barrel. I'm adjusting a barometer. Oh, we'll say this one. And there's something wrong. I'm just not understanding. I'm not understanding what that 178 number is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, heading. So heading's over here. Heading's 234. So if I turned it to 238. That's interesting. Didn't know it did that. But basically, when I clicked on this button here, and I can easily move it just a little bit. One thing I was seeing with Microsoft. With Microsoft Flight Simulator, when you try to turn the heading, I mean, it jumps. It jumps about between 10 and 12 numbers, where I can easily just the least little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. So kind of shows this. And same way as from this menu, so I can go to views and then case views, so I'll be out behind the button. I can be out here. I use this when I'm doing when I'm flying. I go ahead and use this kind of a little bit better. So to get back in, I just click on this and basically trying to look the center of the yoke shaft and pull the trigger. Basically puts me pretty close to the inside. And alrighty. quite frankly, in VR, I actually like the scene gauges a little bit better. I can read the numbers in here, you know, but they're uh, they're small. There's no doubt about it. They're small. And I'm running a pretty high-end Vive Pro 2 is a pretty high-end headset. They may get a little more readable if I try to drive my resolution too simple. If I try to increase my super sampling, you know, but I'll have to play around. I just normally don't. I normally just don't fly this big plane. Okay. So one other thing that we can do is called teleporting. So I this guy out here. So it allows me kind of go wherever I want. So that red thing, basically the joystick on the controller, basically says where I'm going to go. So I'm going to be looking away. So so I was looking kind of in the same direction the tail is. So if I line that up again, I would be looking that direction. So I can go a lot of ways. We'll see. Let's see the VOR. Pretty well modeled. Kind of cool. Yeah, I don't think I can get up on top of it. No, I can't get up on top. Get in like floated. Absolutely, it's a VOR. So from here, if I want to get back in the cockpit, I just squeeze. Then way I line up where I'm looking at. Squeeze trigger. Back in the cockpit. So from wherever you are, roaming around the airport, you get back in the cockpit that quickly. Okay. Kind of like a lot of what I wanted to go over is just just the just the functionality. The same way as like the trim. So the trim is real. Get down as close as I can. So you can see. Actually, we'll do this even better. So I actually have the trim ratio right here. So I'm going to basically go down to the bottom of the trim. I'm going to roll it up to the top. And if I go down to the bottom, so if the trim is very precise. So just like in a real airplane, I don't move this trim very far at all, and to keep the plane in trim. Basically, you're trimming for airspeed. So you're going to be trimming for in between 65 knots and maybe 110, maybe 115 knots. And but while I'm flying, I will constantly move that trim around. So how do I fly in VR? I have my Fulcrum 1 yoke. I have MFG crosswind feathers. Everything else is done these things. I do everything else in this cockpit. When I start VR, I use my mouse to click on a tick box that says use VR hardware. That's the last time I'll use a mouse. I won't use the mouse again. Everything else can easily be done in VR. So we go to this screen? Let's go over to graphics. So I can basically move all these sliders back and forth wherever I want to. Click on button. Back over here. This is a tick box. So basically, well, while I'm in 2D, where I went in VR, there's a 2D place where you can you click on that tick box. That basically puts you here, puts you in this cockpit, in this hangar. So this hangar's it's kind of cool. Good morning, Iowa. How are you doing this morning? I am trying to explain how VR controller support works in X-Plane. And since we have VR controller support in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I had heard on the forums a few people kind of going like, what's the point of VR controller support? Trying to my best to explain why it's needed. So we can kind of move around in this. Oh, is it? Is it? Okay. Let me go check something. Is the mic volume better now? So basically, we can go around this whole like airplane. So kind of cool thing is, let's go like in front of this engine. Like I said before, this is 1-to-1, so I'm gonna have a hard time standing up because I can't stand up. Actually, my chair is um, basically tagged to the. I've got it bungee cord to the. Yeah, I had my mic flipped up. I didn't have it down where it belongs. Uh, but the way I use um, my pedals, I have my pedals mounted on a Wheel Stand Pro, and the post on the Wheel Stand Pro, I take a bungee cord, wrap it around there, wrap it around my chair, so when I run my pedals, the chair can't leave. I'm kind of like trapped right here in front of the yoke. So, but you can absolutely see. I mean, I'm like looking into this engine, and you can just see like how big these guys are. I mean, if I, I'm pretty sure this is a 737, and but you can kind of get a perspective of the one-to-one relationship. So let me get over to this guy. If I can get going the right way here. There we go. So now this is a 747. So this guy's even bigger. One of the first commercial airplanes I flew on was one of these guys. It was in 1971 when we were loading onto that airplane. Um, I was I was looking at all these people. I'm going, all these people are going on this airplane. Yeah, they were. Plane's huge. You go up to the front of it, you can see like up in the top there, the like another cabin way up above there. Things are just monstrous. So it's kind of neat that there's windows there. I never realized this. That below the pilots, there's actually has to be seating there. I know they're just monsters. It's like when you're in one of these, it's like you're looking across the room, but they're just monsters. So we'll go over to the babies over here. So it looks like that's a 172. I think they both are. Yeah, it looks like they are. So it says so. But this is kind of where you get when you first get into VR. It's over into there. And if I just squeeze on my VR controller, that brings me right to here. So no matter where I am, just squeeze and I'm right back here. So this is basically where you can basically look at your hello. You can look at basically your joystick settings. So the index controller, and so let me see which one I'm on. The other one. So So that, when I squeeze, and also this other upper button here, get it? That basically says it's the same thing. So this one here, that's that one. There's the menu button is down this little guy, and then there's a trigger button. Trigger's kind of cool. So when I pull the trigger back, it isn't showing up over here yet. It's got to be in there, about halfway. Then put the trigger in about halfway. That way you're really sure. So if you're touching the trigger, it's not going to um it's not going to respond as a trigger button. So you have to go in about halfway for it to work as a button. Um, Explains a little unique in the respect that all of these are considered commands. So you have commands and you have data references. A command does something. A data reference basically says that it got done. That's kind of data references just do much more than that, but one thing they do is kind of prove a command actually worked. So and so it allows you to kind of map these buttons. There's a couple of them here that say let me get over here that say actually let me like this uh that says reserved for in between two controllers. You have to have, I think it's three of these have to be selected. If they're not, you can't get into VR, and it will prevent you from getting into VR. And so these are the buttons, and over here are the analogs. So in other words, uh, the thumbstick, the uh, up and down, left and right, and then the trigger. And I think there's one more that isn't, that's unused. Yeah, that one's set to none. It's unused. So. Okay. So, back here. Yeah, and one thing I have, in my experience with VR is, I'm going to jump out of the cockpit. Well, that wasn't what I planned on doing. So, when I look up, it's almost all overcast, and that certainly has a dramatic influence over frames. I mean, it is amazing how big an influence it has. But but it is what it is. So. Better get lined up here. Yeah, I'm pretty good. But I think that's kind of what I wanted to go over. Um, just basically the functionality of the VR controllers, where you can the one thing you can like interact with everything, and the precision that you can do that with, where like if I'm over here on the heading, so it's at 231. I want to go 235. Oops. 235. So um, that was, and I basically overshot it, so I turned it too far. So you can easily make those kind of adjustments, whether it be heading, whether it be course, whether it be altitude, um, com frequencies, nav frequencies, all of that. You can set it with fairly good precision um, by just coming up and highlighting it, pulling that trigger in, and just basically rotating it. And you will hear it in your headset, and you will feel it in the haptic. So so you get both of the Uh, both of the feedbacks, a lot of times you're really just kind of listening, you know, because you can just tell it like click, click, click. You can just feel the detents, on the controls. So okay, sounds good. And one thing I kind of noticed when I was playing around a little bit with Microsoft Flight Simulator is that the trim was really coarse. Wow, it was really coarse. I haven't flown with it with the VR controllers yet, but that looks like that's going to be pretty exciting. So what I'm trying to do is until they get until they do a hot fix, and I have no idea how long it's going to take them. Um, I think I'm going to try to find a method where I can use voice commands to kind of do some of the things that aren't working too well. Is kind of what my thought process is right now. But I thought it was important to kind of come over and like I said, I consider currently the X Plane 11 VR controller support to be a benchmark. It is, um, of course, I've been using it for with the index controllers over 2 years, with VR controllers almost 3. So of course I'm more comfortable with it, but it just kind of seems to work, and it it works in how I like to use VR, where I like a physical yoke and physical pedals. But for everything else, I don't need like a throttle quadrant. I have one, but I would rather not use it. I would rather use excuse me. I would rather use my VR controllers for any other VR interaction. And there's two different thoughts on that. My thought is that sooner or later I'm probably going to have to move out of my current place where I'm living, and I'm probably going to have to downsize a lot. So I'm not going to be able to have like a whole bunch of extra hardware. so so if I have a desk with a yoke and a set of pedals, um, and everything else I do is in VR, that will fit me perfectly, But not everybody feels that way, and that's fine. But I want its choice. I want to be able, if that's what I want to do, I want to be able to do it. And currently that X-Plane allows me to do that. Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming that way, but it's not. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite there yet. But okay. I think. Trying to think. There's so many things in VR. It's always hard to understand. Oh, one other thing. So I'm going to go into the Steam VR controller settings. So if I click on the little reset button and controller bindings, and I'm on custom. This is my binding. Let's see if I can show this. I'm not sure if this works. No, doesn't work. It, oh yeah, it does. Okay. So let me. Yeah. So yeah, that's different. So on Microsoft Flight Simulator, when I did exactly the same thing over here, this says legacy bindings. On Microsoft Flight Simulator, it says OpenXR. I believe it's what it says. OpenXR bindings. So they're different. But what this allows you to do is you can actually see. So when I grip the right grip button, I can see that. If I push down on the menu button, I can see that. There's another button, the B button, the trigger button up there. Whoops. And so the other thing we can do is close that, go back, and basically, if I click on edit this binding, that'll take me to basically this configuration screen. And what I wanted to show is what I have done. Yeah. The trackpad on the index controllers basically is annoying. So if you have this enabled, whenever you like touch it, like when I was in X-Plane, it would basically be like you had two controls. So like the thumbstick and this little pad in the middle would basically do the same thing. So I turned them all off. So basically all of these are set to none, so that they don't work. And so basically on both on the left and the right, I basically disabled them. So let me get back out of here. And we'll just jump into. So on my Vive Pro 2, uh, basically the Vive console software is given SteamVR this resolution to use. So 3332, and then I'm telling X-Plane to use half of that. It's not really half, but it's 50%. So it's 2356 by 2356. Native res is 2448 by 2448. So just a little bit under full res. So turn the game back here. So so I probably rambled a little too much, but kind of the way I roll. And so the same way here is that I can, you know, just very, very slowly adjust. When I click on that, it's going to set it to the barometer to 29.92 if I click on that button like that. Hello? Oh yeah, that's something else. So basically, these blue circles and red marks, that's basically where you're going to be parked. So you can see that when I look at this, and then I look at this one over here, I'm way up higher in the seat. This one here, I'm way low, you know. So I'm like let me see if I can get straight. Yeah. So you can see that my head's way up higher. So I created this one, and you can see that a couple of things you can see is one is that the thickness of the blue is a lot smaller, and it makes it more precise when you're going to jump out of the cockpit. Oh, get out of here! Well, let me get alongside the airplane. I got to find it first. There we go. So I'm going to get over here. Oops, gotcha. So if you take the controller and point it at the airplane, you can see all the spots. There's a spot there for that side. If I look straight ahead and go boom, I'm in the back. So you look here, I can go over here. The other thing you can see is you can see these, and you notice from this position you can see that the passenger is further away from the cockpit, from the instrument panel, than what the pilot is. You can absolutely see that from here. So, and so those are just indicators to see where, basically that round circle is where your head's going to be. So let me see if I can get up there. Yeah. So that's basically where that circle is. You can see here, basically That's where my head will be when I'm in the pilot seat. So if I click on this button here, that where that what blue circle was, that's where my head is. So, so this is all like how X-Plane has decided to has done VR, and they did it almost 3 years ago now. All of this positioning VR controller support um, was available to VR, and probably a lot of this was available, but it was pretty rough. So it probably took them a few months before they finally got it pretty smoothed out. And because when VR support first come to X-Plane, it didn't support plugins. So you couldn't have any plugins in VR. So as somebody that uses plugins and creates plugins, that was kind of a bit of a disappointment. But they basically updated the SDK and allowed plugin support in VR, and now it's like fully supported. So one of my plugins that I'm a co-author of happens to be this one. Now, no, I don't have I don't have a checklist for this particular plane because it's default and I didn't add it. But my plugin is X Checklist. I'm a co-author of X Checklist. So, and basically it allows you to write a text file basically, and so you can have a checklist inside of VR, and to basically make sure you do everything right. I'm so comfortable on a 172, I don't necessarily need one. So, but okey joke. Uh, Anything else? I don't think so. So same way as like from this menu, you can do a pause. Like there, you can go to the advanced menu. What's for this one? I don't know. Windows. Not sure. Don't use it. This here is basically the flight configuration. So it basically takes you to this place. So and then once you're here, then if you click on this, then all the settings that you would have in 2D, you basically have here. So joystick, keyboard, data, network graphics, sound, so all of that is how we get to it in VR. And like I said, I'm all of this is all accessible with the VR controllers. So. Alrighty, looks like it's gonna get dark. Okay, so let's see if I can shut the plane down. So let me turn the avionics off. I guess that's the way this one works. Okay. Boom. So turn some stuff off. Thing okay? Yeah, it works that way. Yep. And yeah, so I just find it pretty intuitive, on how everything works. So, and I am hoping very much that I don't expect, I personally don't expect the VR controller support to be identical to X-Plane. What I do hope, be the right word, um, is that we can have the same functionality. Uh, I think I think the functionality we need the functionality at a minimum, and if they can do better, that's great. But we absolutely need this amount of functionality to, especially in the cockpit, and to have the precision. One thing is that in X-Plane is you So I'm in a Cessna 172 with the G1000. There is a unique configuration file for this particular iteration of the plane. If I was in an analog version, the steam gauge version, there would be a different VR config file for it. They're unique to each other. And if you make a copy of the plane, uh, then that copy would have a unique VR config file also. So so it allows you to, because sometimes just the way the knobs work on a particular airplane is different than another one. So it allows you to basically, if if the default behavior isn't good enough, it allows you to fine tune that behavior to make it either more sensitive or less sensitive depending on what is needed. So, alrighty, gonna wrap it, and kind of did what I wanted to do. I got a UPS delivery coming, so I don't want to hang around. I'm building my girlfriend a new computer. I think the last time I built her a new computer was too many years ago now, maybe 8. So she's gonna get an early Christmas present, but yeah, she'll be happy. So catch you guys all later. Thanks for stopping by Iowa, and we'll be. I think my next stream will probably won't be tomorrow. I don't think we're going out for Thanksgiving, but we'll probably be on day after Thanksgiving. I'm thinking, and I think what I'm going to stream is my current workarounds for Microsoft Flight Simulator for VR controller support. I've been reading forums and trying to find the best ways to how to current the. Thank you so much. Um, how I'm currently interacting with the VR cockpit, and I'm using kind of a mix of VR controllers and voice commands. So I'm gonna do a stream kind of similar to this one. I don't think I'll fly. Um, just kind of where I'm at in that. Since it ain't looking too good for like a hot fix. So maybe they'll get one, but uh, I really want to be able. I want to start flying in VR in Microsoft Flight Simulator with VR with VR controllers. So without further ado, that's it. Yeah, have a great day. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please click on the follow button. And I stream VR content and in both Microsoft Flight Simulator and in X-Plane, and uh, I enjoy it, and it's been a lot of fun since Microsoft Flight Simulator brought the VR controller support. Um, it'll be fun. So it may be much as X-Plane when it first come. It was a bit of a challenge, but hopefully in the end it'll all get working. So thanks much. Have a great day. Goodbye.